Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Season 3 Championship of the Stars and Stripes Xfinity Series. Here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, 19 races, 41 drivers, all have prepared for tonight. Our 4 drivers racing for a championship. It's Kyle Mccoy, the most winningest driver of the season, 5 wins for himself. Scott Rickard's going to be coming in with 4 wins. Our Season 2 champion is Scott Rickard, and Kyle Boylan coming in with 0 wins. Probably our biggest underdog is the 44. And finally, our 4th driver driving for a championship, that of Dylan Grimm. Those 4 drivers, their goal, it's not just to get a win, but it's to beat out those other 3 competitors. The one that's furthest ahead here tonight gets the gold. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, again to Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Zach Hall. Going to be my co-in productions. It's Robert Moyer Jr. Zach, it's Homestead. It's championship week. It's time to see who's going to get the gold again. 19 races have gotten us to this point, and it's all come down to this. Who can get the championship done for 133 laps here at Homestead?
What a track it is, Sam, here to be able to put on a show like this here for a championship race. They picked the perfect venue, in my opinion, here at this Xfinity car at the Homestead Miami Speedway. You know, we alluded to it's going to be the top finisher of those 4 who wins the championship. I've always come to these championship races thinking you're going to have to get that win if you want to be able to come out here as a champion. And just looking at our past playoff races so far, Kyle Mccoy dominating the first opening 3 races. Then Dylan Grimm comes there, gets the win at Auto Club. We got to see if Scott Rickard and Kyle Boylan can break into victory lane possibly here tonight, because I think that's what it's going to take here to get this championship with how competitive it's been so far.
Yeah, it's been extremely competitive to see. So many different drivers have come up and shown that they can get victories done. I mean, throughout the season, you think of Nick Hall and Travis Butt. Those are the 2 drivers that you thought possibly had a shot to race for a championship, came up shy. To the 2 drivers that kind of surprised us, if anything, Zach, we knew that Kyle Mccoy, Scott Rickard, they'd shown that they had pace to get victories done and be the championship 4 caliber, but Kyle Boylan as well. I mean, Kyle Boylan as well as Dylan Grimm, both drivers that kind of were under the radar. For the 44 of Boylan, it's been all about consistency for himself to get into the championship 4. Dylan Grimm, it's about getting the wins at the best possible moments. His first win at Indianapolis for the 10th race of the season, and then winning last week at Auto Club to lock himself in for a championship race. It's all about that clutch factor, and first, a lot of these 4 drivers, they've shown throughout the season that they've got that factor for sure.
It's definitely going to take that clutch factor, like you said, and they're the drivers that have proven to have it so far, and that's why they are in this final 4 here tonight at the Homestead Miami Speedway. It's going to be a fun one to watch here as we're still going through right now the first half here of qualifying as the first 3 minutes has transpired. And right now, Kyle Mccoy off to a hot start here, Sam. He has got a blazing lap right now, a 10th ahead of anybody in that first position.
Yeah, and it's 2nd place. It's the 2 of that of Mike Lynch. It's surprising to see the 2 doing so well in qualifying, but you know, Homestead, mile-and-a-half racing, it has been one of the more wild card races for all these drivers throughout the season. We really don't know who's going to be the favorite. We've seen a lot of different drivers perform well at mile-and-a-half courses. Kyle Mccoy we've seen do well at Atlanta earlier in the playoffs. And, you know, you think of Kyle Mccoy, our Season 1 champion of the Stars and Stripes series, honestly could become the first 2-time champion in the Stars and Stripes. And as well, you've got Scott Rickard that's going to be coming in trying to become the first 2-time champion and first back-to-back champion in the Stars and Stripes series. I gotta say, there's a lot of pressure for a lot of these drivers. As you see Aaron Hale on your screen, the 4 currently 9th on the board, going to be coming out of turn number that of 4 and deciding, hey, I'm going to test out pit road, which could be a place where drivers could find a little bit of trouble if we get into a long green flag run.
Oh, very well could find some trouble down there. That is one of the tougher pit roads to enter, especially after they took out the access road down to pit road. You know, now we just get straight into pit road, but we do have to use that access road exiting pit road. But that entry can be very, very tricky. And I think if you haven't had that practice here tonight, we've seen a lot of long green flag runs here throughout this playoffs and really throughout the whole entire season at the mile and a halfs. if you do not have that green flag pit stop down, that could be very well what ends up losing you a championship. And I'm gonna tell you what, if you end up losing that championship tonight by doing a mistake on pit road, you'll never forgive yourself.
Absolutely not. Well, qualifying is slowly coming to a close, but we do have to give big thanks to our sponsors. That at ButtKicker, feel what you've been missing. Use the promo code FreakyFast20. Again, that's Freaky with two E's. FreakyFast20 for 20% off getting your purchase at that ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing, as well as Mccoy Setup Shop. Use the promo code FFB10 for 10% off on setups at Mccoy Setup Shop. Again, that's FFB10 for setups at Mccoy Setup Shop. Remember, they're our setups, but they're your victories. Drivers are hitting the grid. We're getting ready for championship racing as we take a look at where they lie. It's Kyle Mccoy getting another pole position for the 7 machine, as he's going to have that of Andrew Medlen to his outside. Mike Lynch going to be in 3rd. Scott Rickard going to be in that of 4th position. Trey Jackson in 5th. Dylan Grimm in 6th. Dylan Glass going to be in 7th. Kyle Boylan going to be in 8th. Andrew Hale going to be in 9th. And finishing out your top 10 going to be that of Jason Metcalf.
In 11th position, it's going to be Ken Campbell in the 15 machines. 12th is going to go to Christopher Wade. 13th place is going to be Max Ward. 14th is going to be Travis Button, the 00 machine. 15th is going to be Brian Lynch. 16th is going to go to George Kovacic. 17th, Brian Chu. 18th is going to go to Travis Dart. 19th is going to go to John Dart. 20th is going to be Derek Hoffman. 21st is going to be our actual race control, Randy Corwell. 22nd is Nate Lynch. And rounding out the field, there's Brian Burchett in the 23rd position.
And you look at the field, 22 drivers going to be hitting the track, but the whole entire goal for the 4 championship drivers, that of Kyle Mccoy, Scott Rickard, Kyle Bowling, as well as Dylan Grimm, just beat out your other competitors, be the furthest ahead of those other drivers, and you'll win a championship. But Zach, it always seems like when it comes down to these one race championship races, it almost is going to have to take a victory to get the championship done.
It just always seems to be that way. You come in here with that mindset of you have to get that win to win the championship. I think that's the only mindset you really can come with, because if you go out here and, I'm just going to race my race type of deal, I don't think that's going to get it done. You have to be prepared here tonight to go out, get that checker flag, because I think that's the only way the championship is going to happen, is if you end up in victory lane.
Homestead, 1.5 miles in length, but you're going to be seeing progressive banking throughout the night, meaning that drivers are going to be picking the bottom lane, high lane, middle. They're going to be driving all over the place as they're moving off of the grid and on track. They're going to have this one warm-up lap, then the pace car is going to pull off, and we're going to be going green. Our 4 drivers racing for a championship, all in the top 10, getting ready to race here for 133 laps. Thank you so much for everyone that's been on this amazing journey for Season 3 of the Stars and Stripes here Thursday nights on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. It's crazy to think the season is already coming to a conclusion. We got to find who's going to get the championship medal, and will it be Kyle Mccoy, the driver that has been one of the hottest drivers throughout the playoffs, has won 3 of the 4 playoff races so far? Or will it be Dylan Grimm, who won last week at Auto Club, to lock himself in? We haven't seen Scott Rickard get a win in over that of 6 weeks. We'll see if he can get it done this week. Or will it be the driver that has not won at all, that of Kyle Bowling? We'll find out here tonight. The pace car is off, and we are green here at Homestead for the Stars and Stripes Championship.
Oh, yeah, what a great start there from the top 2. Medlen going to be able to stay side by side with Kyle Mccoy as they roar through turn 1. Scott Rickard, though, a big run through 1.
And here comes the 05, going to be on the back bumper of the 7 of Kyle Mccoy. Mccoy going to be coming with a head of steam, but looking them back in the middle of the field. They're already thinking about going 2-3 wide, but our front 5 all going to be in line going through 3 and 4. It's going to be Kyle Mccoy out of turn 4, leading the first lap here at Homestead. And the 7's looking strong, Zach, but early goings at Homestead doesn't mean that you're always going to be the fastest driver on the long run.
No, it definitely does not. This place here will eat the tires. Obviously, Grimm already trying to make a move here on Mike Lynch in the 2. He's going to be able to get it down the bottom, and that's one thing we'll have to watch for all night. You alluded to it earlier in the race, Sam, about this progressively banked track. It has lanes all over the place for the race. You got to find where you're suited most. Right now, the cream is rising to the top, though.
Absolutely, as our championship 4 all gonna be in the top 6, but a change for the lead potentially here. Here comes Scott Rickard, gonna be on the inside, the 0-5. One of our favorites coming into this season, gonna have to fall right behind Kyle McCoy. Our 2 previous champions, Zach, up front. Kyle McCoy, our Season 1 champion, when these drivers were driving in the ARCA cars back in Season 1. Then in Season 2, they decided to race in the Truck Series, where Scott Rickard dominated and got the Season 2 championship. Here in Season 3, both trying to get their 2nd championship in this series.
And who would have thought these two would have been up here? I mean, they got the championship pedigree definitely as they're starting to check out a little bit from the field. We got some 3 wide action right now as Jason Metcalf goes around. He's spinning in front of the field.
Metcalf, middle of the field, already trying to save it. More cars going to be sliding around. That's going to be Dart getting spun. And our first yellow in the first 4 laps in. I got to say, this is around the drivers that have nothing to lose. They're going to be 2, 3, 4 wide at all times in the middle of this field, and that's where Jason Metcalf found himself being spun around. We're going to take a replay of the initial incident. You're going to see from that of Travis Dart's point of view where you already see contact in the middle of the pack, and just more and more, that's Dylan Glass just on the side and bumper of the 35, and Dart locks up the brakes and just one easy lockup, and there goes the 209 spinning around.
Yeah, got to give credit to the 209 too. He could have definitely ran right through the back of someone else there. Instead, he whips it down low, locking those tires up and misses everybody. But you can see there it is. The initial contact, it was just Metcalf 3 wide in the middle and Glass getting up into the wall. And then they just kind of, made contact after that. It's just an unfortunate event for both those drivers. But like you said, nothing to lose for any of these guys involved.
Yeah, all they're aiming for is to get a win. And they both tightened up coming out of the corner. Yes, you're 3 wide, but Zach, both turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, slightly different from one another.
Very much so. Yeah, 1 and 2. It's really a corner where you can really work pretty much any groove, in my opinion. It's definitely a corner that has a different feel. It's hard to explain exactly what is the big difference, but they are 2 different corners. Definitely down in 3 and 4. The track seems to fall away very much quicker as you exit off the banking, and it almost seems like it's almost banked more. It's definitely got a very different feel from 1 and 2. So that is the one thing that you'll notice is some drivers will be better down here on this end of the track compared to the other end. So you're going to have to find your strengths, and hopefully you have strengths in both those areas because you're going to probably need that if you want to end up with that championship here tonight.
Absolutely. As our top 5 currently, it's going to be that of Kyle McCoy, Scott Rickard, Andrew Medlen, Dylan Grimm, as well as Kyle Boyling. Our championship 4 all in the top 5, and it's Andrew Medlen in the 12 and 3rd, a driver that is still searching for his first victory, and honestly a team that we've seen all year long just thinking he was going to get his first win, got into the playoffs, missed out on the first race, was in a giant hole, and the 12 got knocked out in the first round of our playoffs, which playoffs here this season extremely tight because it was only 5 races for the playoffs. Our first 2 rounds were only 2 races each. So if you had one mistake, you kind of put yourself in a must-win scenario going into your next race. We went from the round of 12 to the round of 8 to now here tonight for our championship race, only having 4 drivers left. It's crazy to see how it's just gone in a blink of an eye this season, and as well, the playoffs disappearing as well.
Yeah, it all happens so quickly. And like you alluded to, Sam, if one of these drivers would have had, a bad race, it puts them in a bad position early in these playoffs. We had 2 races back to back to get to the next round, then another 2 races to get to this final 4. I tell you, I've been in that scenario, and it's a tough scenario to be put under that pressure where you have 2 races to perform. It's, with 3, at least you feel like sometimes you got that mulligan in your back pocket. But personally, with the 2-race format like that, you got to go out there and perform each and every race and get every point out there because every point is going to matter. And I think that's why it ended up so close throughout these playoffs.
Yeah, it has been extremely close. As for Kyle McCoy, Scott Rickard, both have been battling back and forth to see who is going to have the most wins at the end of the season. Currently, Kyle McCoy with the most wins out of everyone in this series with 5. Scott Rickard and also Travis Butt tied with 4 wins. We'll see if Scott can tie up with 5, or can Metcalf continue in having the most wins? as we are coming back to racing here in just a few moments. Expecting the lights to go off this time by. But Zach, looking at the stats a little bit more of our top four. Kyle McCoy, we've already noted on 5 wins for this 7 team, 11 top 5s, 14 top 10s. He's got the most top 5s, second most in the top 10s. Kyle McCoy has really found his mark in the second half of the season because he only got his first win at race number 8 of the season.
And that's a really cool stat you brought there. I mean, that is so cool to see how much he has picked up his game, and it's, you got to probably allude that a little bit to the car switch, as like you said, they started the first season in the ARCA cars, then they went to the trucks, now to the Xfinity. So it's been an ever growing, sequence of events for these guys. They got to learn a new car each season, and McCoy has seemed to really pick up, I think, this Xfinity car late in the season.
Yeah, and for Scott Rickard, who's won 4 races this season, his first one was in the second week at Kansas. His second one was at Richmond. Then he won at Watkins Glen for race number 13, and then New Hampshire for week 14. So Scott Rickard shown that he can win on almost every surface out there, road course racing or short track, and also mile and a half. But it's been a while since he's won at a mile and a half. We'll see how it translates here at Homestead. The drivers are stacked up. The pace car lights are off. And we are waiting. Pace car rolls off, and we are green once again here at Homestead for the Stars and Stripes Championship race here at Homestead. And it's Kyle McCoy, Scott Rickard side by side as they roar into turn number 1.
Great start from McCoy there as he's able to get clear of that 05 slots down in front of Andrew Medlen. There's Dylan Grimm, and along with Kyle Bowling as now our top 4 on the top 5 is contact back there on the back of the field.
It's Travis Butt as well as Aaron Hale, all going to be dashing to the bottom side. They go into the apron, not into the inside wall, so we stay green. Glass as well as Metcalf in our previous caution. They stay running straight, but a big scare for all the drivers in the middle of the pack. They continue to roar on, but Zach, you can just tell the drivers that are further back that are not racing for a championship, they recognize, hey, championship drivers aren't around us, and we get a little more aggressive around one another.
Yeah, it seems a little more carefree, not having to worry about, taking out someone in a very interesting spot here in the championship. So luckily, no, championship guys involved in it so far. But Travis Butt there took a heavy lick with that contact between him and Mike Lynch. He's going to have to be struggling here in this opening phase of this race. Probably going to be looking for a caution at some point to help him out and get that car fixed.
As we were running on board with the 20, and now we're going to be moving over to the 00. Travis Butt fell after the hard contact, the 00, now back to 21st position. Usually would say, hey, this is a very odd strategy of him saving his tires, but I think this go around, looking like Travis Butt, the damage that he ensued from the contact has pushed him back away from the draft and losing ground as we move back up front. We're seeing our front about 6-7 drivers online, Zach. Looks like the patience level has already kicked in for our front runners.
Yeah, and I think this tire wear is definitely going to start to kick in more and more. It's going to get harder and harder to run side by side and make those passes and maneuvers that you want to be able to do to get through this field. But right now, Trey Jackson at 31, he's hunting to the back end of that 44. Kyle Bowling, who is starting to close in on Dylan Grimm also in the 23. So some championship contenders here about to get involved, while McCoy and Rickard, they're battling up front side by side.
Yeah, and up front, right now, Scott Rickard in trying to make the pass for the lead to the inside. You can see them just a little bit further ahead as we ride on board now with the 05. On the inside, trying his best to get a good run. You can just tell he could not get back on the throttle on the exit of these corners, and they stay side by side. Zach, it doesn't look like this is going to be helping them currently, as Scott Rickard's now going to complete the pass, but with how long they were staying side by side, those tires got to be feeling that wear and tear the longer the run goes on.
Yeah, we see Rickard make that pass really easily, and that's starting to maybe think maybe he's out here using a little more tire than what maybe McCoy is just ready to do. It's such a tough situation. You don't want to put yourself in that dirty air, but you also don't want to go out there and run qualifying laps and burn your tires up. Maybe McCoy feeling like it's time to give that lead up here and try to save his stuff. As we ride on board with Medlen, you can see those two, though, still going to battle while Grimm and Bowling continue to drop back a little bit. So, I really want to see this go green here to see who has that pace and is really managing their tires the best.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those things for us to watch out for sure, as we're riding it on board with the Tampa Bay, Florida, that of Andrew Medlen. And I got to say, for Andrew Medlen, very consistent season for himself. Yes, missed out on trying to race in the round of 8, But for this 12 team, comes into this race with 9 top 5s, 10 top 10s. The consistency's been there for the 12. It's just he's finished second and third so many times this season that it's kind of just became a running joke at this point. And Andrew Medlen, he's wanting to get that victory at some point, but it's going to be very difficult tonight, especially with the amount of urgency and motivation the championship drivers have around this 12.
Yeah, Medlen's definitely one looking to break through here to get that victory, but behind him, Grimm and Bolin, they're doing battle to see who's going to be that third driver in the rankings right now of that championship. As that 23 has got a little pressure, he's decided to go up to the upper groove here and elected to give the bottom to Kyle Bolin here to try to hold him off, but it's been side by side here for the past lap.
Yeah, and you got to be questioning how much longer do you really want to be fighting out for this position. This race, you know, Homestead, yes, there are going to be a lot of wrecks and cautions that can fly, but at the same time, this course has been known for going green the distance. So you might want to think about, hey, just let the 44 go, save those tires for a later run for the final 20 laps of a stint, and then try to regain all that time that you let him just pull away. But you know, different strategies, mindsets these drivers are in. As you can see on our ticker, 05 already almost a half a second ahead of that of Kyle McCoy, and then back to this battle for that of for fourth place. You're seeing how it is about 2.5 seconds is the difference. As watch out, it's the prize, a driver that we have really not talked about all season long. It's Brian Chu in the 11 up to 7th. Zach, usually when we're talking about the 11 up front, we're at super speedways.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's making the climb through this time here tonight. 17th to 7th, like you alluded to there, Sam. That's 10 spots up for this 11 machine. Maybe, you know, just it's something is clicking with him here tonight. We're seeing him drive through that field, but look at this, the 25 and Nate Lynch. He started in the 22nd position. He's up to 9th. So here early in the going, we're having a lot of drivers move on through along with Derek Hoffman.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of drivers making their big moves forward. Brian Chu as well as Nate Lynch, biggest mover so far, over double digits for themselves. You see Chris Wade, a driver that just missed out on our championship for in 10th position with Derek Offerman, the other driver that just missed out on our championship run. And for Derek Offerman, getting able to run a little bit of a Halloween scheme, as Halloween right around the corner here, as it's going to be happening this weekend. So why not put a little bit of spookiness over the night?
Gotta love the theme paint schemes for the holidays, and he's definitely got a good looking ride there. As these guys are now electing to move up to that top lane here, Sam. That's very interesting to watch. You know, I would expect someone maybe to move down, try to get a little clean air if the driver up ahead of you is running up top, but they're alluding to run that upper groove. As right now Dylan Glass, who started in 7th, had that contact with Jason Metcalf. He's dropped back to 12th here as we go looking back through the field.
Yeah, I mean, it's Glass, Max Ward, as well as that of Brian Lynch. I think the biggest surprise of all the drivers that are back here, though, is Mike Lynch in the 2. Great qualifying for the 2 machine, but showing might only have that short run pace as he's fallen back 12 positions from where he qualified. As well as you see, drivers moving extremely high. That was Travis Dart that went higher than most, kind of went a little bit too aggressive, and now giving an opportunity for the 4 of that of Aaron Hale to the inside of the 209. As you get to see the picture of the 4 trying to duck it low, but also a little bit of scratches still on the 4, who did not use a fast repair, just decided to manually repair the damage on the 4 machine.
Yeah, a lot of guys around these positions right here got a little bit of a beat-up car here as we're right on board with Travis Dart. You can see the damage on the 2 machine there as we look to his outside, and they're going to make contact on the 3 here, and that's going to be more contact and more damage between those 2 cars.
And now here comes the 4 of Aaron Hale, going to be trying to utilize that damage and contact that was made, lost some momentum, and now side by side, 2 rows deep. It's the 2 of Lynch trying to get by. Honestly, just trying to hold off that of Aaron Hale. Hale trying to make the pass on the inside. Looks like he'll be able to clear coming out of turn number 2. And then it's Travis Dart, Brian Burchett making their passes. And here also comes that of George Kovacic in the 65. Going to be making a possible run, but decides otherwise for the 65 machine.
Well, these guys back here having a great little battle here, 23 laps into this opening run. And they are definitely putting on a show here as now Kovacic going to make another move to the inside of the 209 of Travis Dart there. as it looks like he may have the momentum, but Dart going to dive it again to the outside. And that's the beauty of Homestead right here. I love watching this. Drivers all over the place, making lap time in each place. And that's all you can ask for as a driver, to have options out here to be able to make passes.
Oh, absolutely. Do want to give note of drivers even further back to the battle that we're watching currently. Travis Butt, we've noted on, was extremely off the pace. Well, looks like the 00 has decided just to park it for now. It's been in pit road for over 6 minutes and it's not showing any signs of coming out of pit road. Is that of Travis Butt? Also, Jason Metcalf, heavily damaged, is about a second off of what the battle we're watching currently of Kovacic and Dart being the driver that is in 20th, a driver that of Jason Metcalf, this 35 machine. Driver we've seen race up in the top 5, top 10 week after week, but struggling here after that early contact, bringing out our first yellow of the night.
Yeah, looks to be a little loose too on that 35 machine, so trying his best there. Even got a little damage on that right side from that contact. But as this is all going on, the battle for the lead, heating up again. Mccoy to the inside here. Scott Rickard off of 2. He's been able to track him down after getting that half-second gap. Now back to trying to get the lead back from this 05.
It's going to be a little bit of give and take going on throughout the night. Hey, you let a driver take off, let them utilize their tires, then you just rake them back in as the run goes on. And just like that, just as easy as Rickard did it the last time he made a pass, it's going to be Kyle Mccoy making the move for the lead. And there goes the 7 once again. And Zach, we were touching on it and talking before we went live about what the fuel window was going to be like. The drivers, hey, they're getting pretty close to it.
Yeah, they definitely are, Sam. I'm looking at that fuel window to start open up really around lap 44, maybe even 45, trying to split this race up into a 2-stopper here tonight. So most likely around that 88 lap mark, we'll be hitting that second time for pit road. But right now, that's starting to enter their minds. But I tell you what's entering Kyle McCoy's mind before we get to that window is he's trying to gap this 05, and he's definitely done a great job of saving the tires, letting 05 really go out there, use his stuff up. Now going to utilize that clean air to try to pull away.
Yeah, clean air going to be a big factor here as the night rolls on. You see, as we're right on board with the 05, Scott Rickard, driver that came in last season, Zach. I mean, you look at the stats that 05 had, 9 wins that he had last season in the truck when they were running in the truck series for season 2, where Scott Rickard won the championship. There was so much pressure and hype coming into season 3 that Scott Rickard was going to do exactly the same thing, if not win even more races. But hey, there's been a great equalizing of all the wins going out from all the different drivers. We had multiple drivers with 4 wins at one point this season. We had drivers with 3. I mean, we had a lot of different winners throughout, and I think that's kind of what the Xfinity cars can give you, is the different driving styles brings out the best in all the drivers. And right now, our 4 championship drivers all in the top 5 and continuing to race on, as you see that of Dylan Grimm, Boiling, both just challenging with one another. And you also got that of Medlen trying to kind of be a tow car, trying to pull them along to catch up to our front 2.
Yeah, these guys are running faster lap times right now, Sam. They're really starting to pick up the pace in this 44 and this 23 here as they go to the inside of Medlen here. Off of 2, can Bowling get it done is going to be the question, or can Grimm get by Bowling in this situation if they start to battle hard here? I'm going to tell you what, this longer run as it goes, we could see these 2 go up forward because this track's so abrasive on the tires. It's so critical to saving them right now. Bowling looking to get it done as Grimm's going to try to follow him through.
Grimm's just trying to hold on as we ride an inside board with the 23. And Dylan Grimm on the inside, you can see how he's just trying to stay low, get a nice arc into the corner. And the goal is don't touch the white line, but to get as close as you can. And coming out of the corner, getting a little bit pinched is the 23 from that of the 12, but easy pass. And now it's all on that of Boiling as well as Bowling and Grimm to work with one another, and you're just so close. That of Medlen gets to that of Grimm and just not able to stick with that type of a run. Was the 12, he's falling back. Andrew Medlen showing, hey, he's quick in those first 20 laps. Falls off once we get into the later parts of this run.
Yeah, definitely starting to struggle on board with that 12 there. He's looking like he's losing the rear a little bit, so definitely used up those rear tires just maybe a little too much early into going here. Gonna have to probably redecide how he wants to run his runs here after he gets a new set of tires, but he's gonna try to latch on and stay as close as possible before we hit pit road. But I tell you what, look at this driver here in the 31. He's not a part of the playoffs either here, but man, oh man, Trey Jackson having a great run in that 31 machine.
Yeah, Trey Jackson, honestly, is one of the drivers that almost made it into the playoffs, just came up shy for himself. And Trey Jackson came in with 1 top 5, 7 top 10s. It's been those top 10 finishes that have really helped this 31 team to have such a consistent run throughout the season. Right now, trying to get a top 5 finish if possible to get a second one this season, but it's going to be a lot of hard work to try to figure out how to get by the 12 of Andrew Medlen.
That it will be, and then it's going to be really tough to get around that 23 and that 44 because they've started to drive away from that 12 machine of Medlen. I got to give credit to our top 4. They definitely prepared here tonight, and they show why they're the final 4 here battling for this championship.
Yeah, I mean, you think of our top 4, they're all our championship 4. You noted on it in the top of the broadcast. If you're going to be a driver that tries to win the championship, you're most likely going to have to win the race here tonight. And Kyle McCoy has done exactly that of the 7 up front, leading the way as he continues to pull away. We could look back to, looking at where the drivers are throughout this season, Zach. Kyle McCoy is the driver that I got to say, he just came in the second half of the season. I noted on it, his first win was race number 8. Then that was at Dover. Then he won at Nashville Super Speedway for race number 11. Then the playoffs happened for race number 16 of the season, where then Kyle McCoy went on a 3-race winning streak at Atlanta, Bristol, Darlington. He came into the playoffs our hottest driver, and at this point, still looking like the hottest driver. The only race he did not win during the playoffs was last week at Auto Club, where Dylan Grimm found a way to win there. But at one point, we thought Kyle McCoy was even going to win that race.
Yeah, all the races you bring up that he won. What it really just brings to my mind, and the biggest thing is how well he can save the tires. It seems to be at the tracks that are the most abrasive, Kyle McCoy is shining the most. And this track here tonight, another one of those abrasive surfaces that really plays into the strengths of the drivers who can make those tires last and keep that pace throughout the whole entire run. Tonight, Kyle McCoy is showing why he wanted those tracks, and again, showing his pace on the long run is really just out of this world.
Our season 1 champion of the Stars and Stripes series. No surprise, we knew that if you're a previous champion, you're going to come out and be a threat each and every race you come out to. And Kyle McCoy trying to become the first 2-time champion in the Stars and Stripes series as we are inching closer and closer to pit stops. The biggest question now, Zach, is who of our championship 4 is going to be the first to come into pit road and kind of start the game of chicken of who wants to come in next.
Yeah, that's going to be the big question. Who wants to do the undercut? Who really wants to be the first driver to risk putting on a set of tires and risk that track position if you do get a caution under your pit sequence? So got to be careful with how it plays out. And it's such a tough call for the driver. You want clean air. You want to get ahead of your competition. But I would say you also want to have the freshest tires from what we've seen. So undercutting is going to be a big risk. You're going to gain time for that quick moment, but you're going to be losing time for majority of the run due to that tire disadvantage. I think here tonight, you may see some guys try to stretch it a little bit farther to get that tire advantage and try to put themselves in a better position here later in the race.
And they're going to try all the different strategies as they can to try to win a championship here tonight. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on Freaky Fast Broadcasting for the Stars and Stripes Championship. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Zach Hall and our producer, that of Robert Moyer. We are so proud of you having all of you watching here tonight. Thursday night championship racing here. And for those that are watching live in the chat, who are you thinking is going to win the championship here tonight? Is it going to be Kyle McCoy or Scott Rickard, Kyle Boylan, or that of Dylan Grimm? Your top 4 are our 4 championship drivers. The goal of the night, just beat out those other 3 machines, and you get the gold as we're waiting for that first driver to really hit pit road. I mean, we've seen one of our drivers that's further back that's really not a contender to win tonight's race, that of Brian Burchett, coming into pit road and taking service. But Scott Rickard has been passed now, and he has fallen to the clutches of Kyle Bowling as well as Dylan Grimm.
Yeah, Grimm and Bowling they've continued to be some of the fastest cars on the racetrack, matching times with our leader Mccoy and sometimes even beating him. So got to give credit to Kyle Bolin there. Getting up the second now is now Grimm. He's going to take a shot at Scott Rickard. And Scott Rickard here on this long run, we see him take the lead early in the go and come up from that fourth position right now, starting to fall back now as he'll slot back to fourth.
Oh, he's pinching. He's still trying to hold on to that third place position because Scott knows if he falls back to fourth, he's just going to continue to fall back and lose ground, and he's lost that position. Our Season 2 champion, Scott Rickard, who's trying to become the first back-to-back Stars and Stripes champion, he has now fallen back to fourth place, and on the long run, struggling. But of our top five, our first driver has hit pit road. That's Andrew Medlen.
Medlen's going to decide to do the major undercut here 3 laps earlier than what I would think anybody would want to pit. And I tell you what, this is going to be interesting to see how it plays out for him, how far out ahead he gets, because right now the lap times we're running 35-21 from our leader Mccoy. That's almost 2 seconds slower than what we started off with. So it's very much a lot of fall off. Those new tires are going to help a lot here to gain time back.
And you see now on the bottom of your screen, it's the battle of Kyle Mccoy and Kyle Bolin, our two Kyles that are racing for a championship. And you can see on the bottom when it's in green, that means the 44 is gaining time in that last lap, 2/10. Zach, that 44 machine might be a little bit under a second and a half back, but he is coming with a lot of speed here as we're inching closer and closer to pit stops.
Yeah, I tell you what, Sam, I talked about McCoy having such good long run pace. He's got good long run pace, but I tell you what, Bolin and Grimm behind him, both producing better lap times right now by a couple hundredths compared to McCoy. And I tell you what, if we keep going down this range here before we get the pit stops, they could look to stretch it a little farther. McCoy here that had the fresher tires for the longer run. We'll see when Kyle decides to come down pit road, but this is going to be a critical phase in this race right here.
Up front, still no signs, no word of our Championship 4 over the radio if they're going to be coming into pit road, and they stay out for another lap. Drivers further back that have come into pit road, that of Mike Lynch and also Jason Metcalf, have made services for themselves. But, I mean, I got to say, for the Kyles that are up front, they're certainly putting on a show as we drop back and see fifth place runner, that of Trey Jackson, running extremely high and letting that of Andrew Medlen make the pass. Andrew Medlen has already come into pit road, first car a lap down, trying to unlap himself the hard way as this run continues on.
Yeah, right now running about 1.8 seconds faster than our leader is Andrew Medlen with the tires. Is McCoy. He hits pit road here on lap 44, right where I thought some drivers would split it into that margin. And right now he's decided to get it done. Is now Bolin and Grimm and Rickard stay out. We'll see how this plays out for our leader, Kyle McCoy.
I feel like for Scott Rickard, he's got to come in. He has to now come in this next lap. For our other two, Bolin and Grimm, they could probably stay out for another lap or two, try to stretch it out unless the fuel says otherwise. But you think for fresher tires, they're going to want to stretch it out as Dylan Grimm now showing signs to come into pit road, leaving of our Championship 4. It's only Kyle Bolin and Scott Rickard that are staying out. Trey Jackson as well following suit into pit road for that 31.
Good man, oh man, yes. Bolin going to stay out and Rickard going to stay out also. As this is very interesting. Everybody hitting pit road here really on lap 45, but Bolin deciding to do another along with Rickard. That is a big question mark for me too, Sam. Rickard really struggling here as this run goes on. He's giving up more and more time. We'll see if Bolin does it this time. Maybe 2 laps is enough for him, but looks, he's coming down.
Bolin going to be staying out for an extra just 2 laps over that of Kyle McCoy. Scott Rickard, though, stays out for another lap for the 0-5, and he just got passed by Kyle McCoy. Kyle McCoy back on the lead lap, so even if the yellow comes out now, he'll be on the lead lap. First car a lap down currently is Dylan Grimm, who's just getting out of pit road. But Zach, first pit stop of the night, and already we're seeing a lot of different strategies from our Championship 4.
Yeah, this is interesting from Scott. Did not see him playing this type of strategy here to stretch it farther due to he was really starting to struggle with this pace here, not producing the greatest lap times. Maybe he's felt like he just doesn't have nothing for those top 3 as he got passed after taking the lead there by each individual one of his competitors here tonight. He's going to have to try to do something off the wall here, maybe stretch it even farther than we thought anybody would want to. Right now, Scott Rickard, though, still out here on the racetrack, just really struggling at the moment.
Got Rickard. We're still in the first half of today's race and kind of already throwing a Hail Mary type of a strategy, continuously staying out. And compared to that of Kyle McCoy, has been staying out 3 laps, even longer, and stays out for another lap as the 0-5. I mean, Zach, at this point, he's banking on a caution. There's no way that we can possibly see this strategy work out. I mean, the reason he's staying out is because he knows on the longer run he's going to have those worse tires. So he's staying out so that maybe he'll have a little bit of an equalness of the tires on the longer run with his other 3 competitors. But this is not looking good for the 0-5 currently.
Yeah, I think he's trying to catch a caution possibly here. This is, how much time he's given up here is now they get by him. He says, that's enough. I see how much quicker they are. I'm going to bring the 05 down the pit road here. And yeah, a long decision to do this here, Sam, but right now, lap 49, he's going to bring it down. We'll see what type of difference that makes up for him here on this next run. Maybe he's able to work the tires in better and not have as much pressure to take that lead. We'll see, though. That was a lot of time given up by Scott Rickard, though.
Oh, absolutely. And also want to give note on the fact that we still have 3 other drivers that have decided to stay out for another lap. That being Aaron Hale, Brian Chu, as well as Travis Dart. Actually, we could throw in a 4th driver of that of Kovacic as well, staying out. So our front 4 all still looking to come into pit road, as Travis Dart actually already came into pit road on lap 5 under that first caution. So he came in, topped off with fuel, also got damage repairs. So the 209 able to stretch it a little bit further than everyone else because he's got that extra fuel. But the other 3 drivers that are in the top 4, surprising to see them still staying out.
Yeah, definitely surprising for them to be out this long. Definitely, they're just trying off-the-wall strategies at this point. Try to stretch the tires. Tires matter so much at this place. They'll see if that is a difference that can help them make up some time on their competition. But right now, the battle of the drivers who have pit is about to start ensuing, as Andrew Medlen, he pitted on lap 41. 3 laps later, Kyle McCoy comes down. He's just now caught up to this 12 machine, about 5 or 6 car lengths behind him, and is really caught up quickly, as he's got a sizable gap back to Kyle Bolin.
Aaron Hale now going to be coming into pit road, as well as we're waiting to see if Kovacic stays out for another lap. But yeah, I mean, the 7, Kyle McCoy, great job for himself. And Zach, you noted on it that there really isn't an on-axis road, but an off-axis road. You can lose and gain a lot of time if you're aggressive or not, based on the amount of ground that there is between the 7 and the 44. Looking like Kyle McCoy, a lot more aggressive on the off-exit road, giving himself a major advantage over the 44 of Bowling and also Dylan Grimm.
Yeah, he did an excellent job in and out of pit road right there. Definitely got a lot getting down into pit road not only, but you can really gain a lot of time, like you said, on that access road. He's here now. They come up on Brian Chu in the 11 machine here. We'll see if McCoy can use the 11 as a pick here. As even Kovacic up high, and now McCoy going to go 3 wide and get past the 12 Andrew Medlen. There he goes on by on the tires. But yes, so much time to be gained entering and exiting pit road, but so much to be lost. Also, if you make one simple mistake, dip a tire off in the grass, you're going to be looking at a black flag. Not only that, but also possibly wrecking.
Possibly. I mean, it is crazy out there to be seen, as again, that of Kovacic as well as Dart continuously staying out for a little bit longer. And for that of Dart, we know he can stay out possibly until lap 58 could be the distance that he can go for. For Kovacic, though, kind of open in the air of how far the 65 really wants to continue to stay out.
Yeah, I mean, he's continuing on still here on lap 54, and it's definitely kind of caught me off guard here. Even with the 90% fuel load, I figured around 50 laps is about as much as you're going to be probably able to get out of a tank here, as he's continuing still on. So definitely going to have to work on my math a little bit, as still some drivers yet to hit pit road here tonight. But gotta allude to Travis Dart here in the 209. He did hit pit road early in the going, so that's why he's able to make it to this point. But McCoy only really less than 3 seconds now behind Travis Dart. Those new tires almost have already caught up to this 209, and he's going to be probably a lap down by the time he hits pit road.
Well, 2 more drivers still need to come into pit road, but most of the field has already done their first pit stop. There's still 1 more pit stop to go before we can get to the end of this race, so we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, let's see where the drivers lie, as the Stars and Stripes championship race here at Homestead on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We'll be right back in just a few.
You want to be the best. You can't.
Freaky Fast Broadcasting is presented by ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Use the promo code FreakyFast20 for 20% off at your purchases for a game or two. As well as we are that of Mccoy Setup Shop. Mccoy Setup Shop, there are setups, but they're your victories. Use the promo code FFB10 for 10% off on all setups at Mccoy Setup Shop, and as well, go to McConeySetupShop.com/coaching for $25. Get coached by some of the best out there in eNASCAR Coca-Cola Series drivers like Zach Novak and Jimmy Mullis, or any of the other selection of drivers that can help you get better at sim racing. Thank you so much to all of our amazing sponsors, and we are now back to the racing action. It's the Stars and Stripes Season 3 Championship race to see who's going to get it done. Our 4 championship drivers, Kyle Mccoy, Scott Rickard, Kyle Bowling, and Dylan Grimm, all ready for amazing racing action as all 4 of them racing here tonight. And the goal, just beat out the other competitors around you, and all 4 of them in the top 5. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Zach Hall. Zach, it has been amazing racing action here tonight, and it's been all Kyle Mccoy so far.
With that, it has been. He has shown the pace here, the strength of that number 7 that we've seen throughout the 4 races of these playoffs. Didn't get the win last week, but came into last week with a 3-win streak there, and he's trying to get that 4th win of these 5 races in the playoffs. What a story that would be for him to pull the championship off in that type of fashion. But I tell you what, Bowling and Grimm, they're starting to click off some really good lap times to be able to close that gap up as they're catching up to Medlen. But also can't forget about Scott Rickard, who went farther in the distance. He's turning the quickest times of all of them right now.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. Scott Rickard's going to be about finding himself a little bit under 7.5 seconds back from our leaders. That's a lot of ground for this 0-5 to make up. And that was kind of what we were talking about before he came into pit road with how long he was staying out, was he's losing more ground that he can make up even with fresher tires, especially because he's only been showing that he's got a short run car. These drivers are in a fixed setup, so they've got to work with what they've got. And if you're finding that you're burning off a lot more of your tire rubber, you better have figured out a different way to fix that into your second stint. But Zach, I think that's the amazing thing about, having multiple pit stops in a night is that you can learn a lot from that first pit stop.
Oh, yes, you can. I tell you what, there's many a race where I went out there as a driver and just tore my tires up and just did not understand, how are the other guys making pace. And I tell you what, you can really, over the time of a race, learn how to fix your mistakes by not only looking at your competition, but just thinking, what am I doing wrong? It's so many different things these drivers have in the back of their pocket to be able to use to get better here as this race goes on. We'll see if Scott Rickard can get a better longevity out of his tires here on this run, maybe by just figuring out, hey man, I went a little too hard at that beginner run. I seen what Mccoy did, and I kind of played myself into that role. Right here, he may have a little bit better management and be able to use those tires to his advantage. But I tell you what, it's going to be fun to watch, Sam.
Oh, absolutely. As it's the end of the season, and all these drivers a lot of them have shown up to almost every single race. And we're seeing a lot of these drivers trying to have one of their best runs so far, watching the action back here for that of 14th and 13th position, as that is Brian Burchett going to be on the outside, being passed by that of Brian Lynch, as well as Aaron Hale, Dylan Glass, drivers that were involved in our first caution of the day. Gotta say, he's been doing a good job of just rebounding it, but I think for a lot of these drivers, they need a caution if they want to get back into this racing action.
Yeah, and I think a lot of them definitely want a caution, like you said there. As Hale had a major slide there, that Ford machine. He holds on to it there. That's something I see as the run is going on. A lot of guys struggling for the rear end coming off, especially two. So we're going to see if anybody can make headways on those type of situations. But right now, Glass and Hale battling it up here for 12th and 13th. As right now, Medlen, he's got passed by Grimm, actually going around the outside up front here for that third position. Medlen starting to feel the tire wear, is now Travis Dart on the 209, who pitted so much later. He's a lap down now, trying to get by these guys on the new tires.
Yeah, Travis Dart currently 14 lap fresher tires than the drivers around him. But Zach, this is when things get really interesting because of the drivers that were so off sequence and have so much fresher tires that aren't a part of our championship four. They're trying to be aggressive, but you kind of also have a little bit of hesitation when you're racing around these championship drivers. You're not trying to be the influence in a reason on why a driver had lost the championship, but at the same time, hey, they're all competitors. They're all going for the win here tonight.
Yeah, everybody's going for the win here as we're watching Kyle Bolin. He's battling with Jason Metcalf. It looks like he'll clear him down here in 1 and 2 as they race side by side through 3 and 4 there. Bolin trying his best to catch up to Kyle McCoy, but just has not gained that much so far. And we're really not far away from our next set of pit stops right now on lap 70. I'm expecting those pit stops to happen around lap 88, so only 18 laps away from those pit stops. And he's, well, right now, upwards of 4 seconds back. It's going to be tough for Kyle Bolin to get that gap down before Kyle McCoy hits pit road again.
Yeah, I know. We noted on the fact that we think it's really on the entry and exit on where the 7 got all this time for himself, and also caught and passed lap traffic much easier than the other drivers around him. But if you're in the mindset of such a Kyle Bolin and Dylan Grimm, that we're only about a second and a half off of Kyle McCoy coming into that first pit stop just 25 laps ago, and then you come out of pit road and you find yourself being 4 seconds back and you're really not gaining any time on the 7. Are you thinking, okay, I got to be more aggressive into pit road, or are you hoping maybe at some point maybe I got to undercut to try to gain that time back?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't start seeing that time start clawing back here in the next, I'd say 10 laps here before we get to those pit stops, you're going to have to probably try some different type of strategy, Sam. These guys alluded to go longer than the 7 machine, but again, that 7 just used those new tires to such good avail. And right now, the big thing he did also is I noticed he got out there and kind of paced himself. He didn't go, complete qualifying laps. He just used those newer tires to the extent that they would allow him to without burning it up. And that was enough while the other drivers out there on the old tires turned in like 2-second lap slower times. That really adds up as it goes. And McCoy used that to his advantage right now and really hasn't fallen off pace-wise. Just a really classic run from him again, showing why he's won so many races this season.
We keep on, looking back, seeing some of the drivers that are in the middle of the field. And, yes, we're going to be talking throughout the night as we are now past halfway. But the drivers are throughout this field, a lot of different storylines for themselves. I mean, for that of Chris Wade in this 53 Dr. Pepper machine, we've seen him have so many giant highs and as well massive lows. Still looking for his first win this season. But for this of Chris Wade, 11 top 10s. And I think that's been a big thing for a lot of these drivers is we've had major large fields throughout this season. I mean, I was looking back at some of the bigger races that have been going on where, the first half of the season, you had 30 plus drivers week in, week out. And then it dwindled back to just 25 drivers were showing up. But we've seen all the drivers that were finishing in the top 15 show up almost every single week, and they've now showed up here tonight, putting on a great show here for our championship race for the Stars and Stripes Season 3 here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. And for that of Chris Wade, right now doing a decent job for himself in 9th place.
Yeah, trying to get another top 10 there to add on to those stats for a really good and consistent season for these guys. So really awesome to see these guys having runs out here and see guys come out here and race on a championship race. A lot of guys will have the opinion of, well, I have nothing to race for. I'm not going to go out there. My season's over. I got knocked out of the playoffs. Kind of one of those things that a lot of people will think, but you got to give the applause to drivers who are going to show up here and just go out here and race tonight and finish out the season in a strong way like they are here. As King Campbell here in the 10th position. He's up one spot from where he started, but again, another good top 10 run here for King Campbell.
And I'm hearing it in my word. I think there's a shot that we're actually going to be coming back for next season for the Stars and Stripes. Exciting news for the league and for us at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, because I might be a little biased, but this has been some of the best racing on Freaky Fast Broadcasting throughout the week. Hey, I'm putting up the challenge for all the other series that we get to broadcast. Hey, who can put on some of the best shows? But it has been amazing to see these drivers week in and week out. We go into overtime almost every week. It is always just thrilling races when it comes to the end. But hey, we're coming back in December 9th. We're coming back to broadcast these drivers season 4. And Zach, we're going to be going to the Cup cars for this next season.
Well, I tell you what, that is definitely going to throw a whole new curveball out here to these drivers, and it's going to be fun to watch, Sam. I cannot wait to call it alongside you, man, and see these guys put on some more classic finishes for us. Now, look at this. This strategy might play out here for Scott Rickard. He is now caught up to Grimm, who was much quicker on the long run last series during that first stint. Now he's caught up to the 23, who has definitely lost touch to Kyle Bowling.
Yeah, and Kyle Bowling, he's done a great job. He's running about a tenth or so faster than Kyle McCoy has closed it into just 4 seconds. But I think it's more of Grimm falling back, as Grimm having a little bit of internet issues as he'll try to get that figured out for himself. The 23, that has been kind of one of his biggest flaws of the season, is periodically he will have internet issues pop up. We're hoping that he can stay connected. That is not the way you want your championship run to end, is being knocked out of the server because of your poor internet.
Yeah, that is always a heartbreaking finish for seasons for drivers, and I've seen it happen before, and it's something you never want to see happen when, especially you're racing for a championship like this. It's so much on the line now. Scott Rickard, he's going to take it up to the top groove here, see if he can get the nice run off of turn number 2 here. And gotta say, these Xfinity cars all season long have been such a pleasure to call. And it's going to be a breath of fresh air, definitely, with those Cup cars, and it's going to be tough in a very competitive series, Sam, when they bring the Cup cars here, because that car really does, it brings out a lot, and a lot of the drivers that, this Xfinity car is a little bit more difficult, in my opinion, to, bring out the full extent of this car. So it's going to possibly open up the door for some new winners, I think, next season also.
Yeah, the comfort level is going to be much more there. I know for me, whenever I'm out racing in official races, the Xfinity car was something I always kind of strayed away from because I knew how much more difficult it was compared to some of the other cars out there. It's a lot more of throttle control and figuring out how you want to attack it. I mean, with the wide range of drivers that have won this season, big props to this league as a whole for finding the caliber of drivers to really be able to hold on and compete week in and week out. And can't wait to see which new drivers will pop up. Will we see any familiar faces from other leagues coming and trying to race in season 4? Again, in December is when we're going to be seeing Stars and Stripes back for season 4. But before we get there, we got to figure out who's going to win the championship for season 3. And right now it's still Kyle McCoy, Dylan Bowling, as well as Dylan Grimm, our top 3. But you see it on screen, still Scott Rickard in 4th, and Zach, he has not been able to make this pass. They've stalled out. If anything, they're losing ground on our front 2.
They definitely are. So Kyle Bowling, we alluded to him maybe having to pull some type of strategy to get the track position over Kyle McCoy because he was starting to lose time to our leader. He alludes to do the undercut here in the 44, had enough of it, says he wants to go down here and hit pit road. We'll see when Kyle McCoy reacts to that. He had about a 4.5 second gap. That'll give him a few laps to think about it.
Yeah, I mean, you think for Kyle McCoy, right, the gap was around 4 seconds. Right now, the difference on time is about 1.5 seconds or so between the drivers' best times to what they're running currently. So Kyle McCoy can give up 2 laps, let the 44 take off, and if Bowling becomes a little bit hesitant on getting back on track and through this off-exit road, we could be seeing Kyle McCoy still even gaining time, even with that of seeing Bowling making the pit early as more drivers into pit road. It's going to be Andrew Medlen coming in, and Zach a little bit earlier than I think we were expecting drivers coming to pit road, but you knew that someone had to make an oddball strategy if they wanted to figure out how to beat this 7.
Yeah, I was thinking, a little earlier too, Sam. They definitely pit earlier than before. But what I think that is coming down to play with is we didn't have, we had an opening caution there in this early stint of this race that really let the drivers, I think, stretch the tires possibly a little farther than they were, probably thinking to do. So right now, some drivers are saying, man, my tires are very, very worn and I need to come down pit road. And they're probably wondering why they're so much worse than the first one. But I think that caution definitely helped the tire wear situation for drivers, stretching it to where they did before. We'll have to see when our leader, Kyle McCoy, does it, because right now he is not flinched one bit at all as Grimm and Rickard still continue to race each other for that 3rd position. As actually Scott Rickard is now dropped back from Dylan Grimm a little bit.
Yeah, that's the thing. Scott Rickard, you got to remember, he has been one of the drivers that has struggled the most on the longer run. That's why he stretched out for 5 extra laps on his tires compared to our other 3 championship drivers, trying to get that advantage. And if anything, it put him right back to where he was before that first pit stop. So this whole entire strategy kind of backfired, if anything, on Scott Rickard. He's got to try something completely different again. And here it comes into pit road earlier than our front 2, which, Zach, this is so interesting to see. It's those oddball strategies of the drivers that do the undercut usually stretch it out a little bit further. If on the first pit stop, if you pit early, usually the second pit stop, you pit later. We're seeing that once again.
Yeah, it is always an interesting dynamic that drivers seem to do the opposite of what they did the first run. So, what I think that comes down to is they saw how much time they lost to Kyle McCoy by doing something a little different than him, as he was the first one to hit pit road of any of the drivers. Is now Grimm going to come down pit road in that 23 also, as McCoy continues to pace himself out front. I think now on lap 88, this will be exactly where he halfway from where he pitted last time, another 44 laps. I think you're going to see Kyle McCoy stick to his strategy here and hit pit road with this amount of laps left.
Yeah, and also, looking to see where the 44 is, Kyle Bowling has still not made the pass to unlap himself yet. He has actually been trapped behind drivers that are on the lead lap, but kind of feeling like traffic currently for the 44. So for that of Kyle McCoy, the pressure still isn't there to come into pit road because he hasn't seen the 44 pass him.
That's very, very true, Sam. He's definitely got that ability to see where they're at on the racetrack, and right now Bolin's got past his lap traffic. He's coming very quickly on Kyle McCoy, but McCoy going to stretch it another lap here. And I think that's a smart strategy by him. He's had the gap and he's had the pace. if anything, this should play out in his advantage to have the freshest tires coming down to the end, but we'll see. We've seen he pitted first last time, and it worked out the best for him. He does another lap here in the 7. Man, definitely don't want to stretch it too far like we see with Scott Rickard, and he may give up too much time. This is going to be an interesting phase in the next few laps.
But again, you cannot make any mistakes. This is your money pit stop. If you make a falter here, this could be the chance of Kyle McCoy throwing away his chances for a championship. As you see the 44, Kyle Bowling making the pass, unlapping himself, and the lead driver currently of the championship for drivers that have already pitted on their money stop. The question is, when does Kyle McCoy come into pit road? Because he stays out for another lap.
This is definitely throwing me a little bit for a loop here, the thinking process on McCoy. Maybe just feeling the strength in his car on the long runs. He'll be able to work back, back past them. But this is nerve-wracking here. And again, like you alluded to, Sam, no mistakes from him. He's giving up time here, but if he tries to go and push and make up for some of that time given up here on these new tires, trying to get into pit road, and makes a simple mistake, that could very well come down to be what decides this race for him. As I think he's going to be hitting pit road this time.
Into pit road is the 7. Do not get caught speeding. Do not get any penalties. That's the thing. Oh no! Max Ward going to be into the inside while we stay green, but hard contact was made by that of the 59 that gets going loose out of turn number 4. Our first true on-track incident that we've seen in over 60 laps, and somehow Ward continues to run forward.
Yeah, that was scary for Max Ward there, who made contact, like you said, with that inside wall just a little bit loose on those colder tires, and just going to gather it up right on the front straightaway. So good job by him. But now Trey Jackson, he's the driver yet to hit pit road here also, as now Bowling's got past Offerman. Aaron Hill also yet to hit pit road in the 4.
Looking at all the drivers of our championship 4 that have come into pit road, fastest pit stop from all those drivers, Kyle McCoy's pit stops have been the fastest, and we'll see where he lies coming out of pit road. Currently going to be back in 7th place, so there's a lot of ground to be made up for that of Kyle McCoy currently, but he's got 7 lap fresher tires than that 44 currently. Once we see the whole entire pit cycle go through, we're expecting the 44 to be that lead driver. And then 4.2 seconds back, that's where we find Scott Rickard, who is currently 2nd of our championship 4. Third's Dylan Grimm, who's 5th currently on our ticker, who's about 5 seconds back from Kyle Bowling. And then there's Kyle McCoy in 6th place, finding himself about 5.5 seconds back from the 44. Zach, if there's no late caution as Trey Jackson comes into pit road, we're still waiting for Aaron Hale to make his pit stop, but our championship 4 should be, are gonna be our top 4 running to the end of this race.
And man, oh man, this is getting down to the end of this stint very soon. And I tell you what, McCoy's going to have to drive everything to get back up there, because right now he's got Grimm in front of him and Scott Rickard also, along with Bowling. He's got all 3 of them to pass. If he wants to win this championship in this last run, he's going to drive by all 3 of his competitors. And I tell you what, the 23 and the 05, I think they're going to make these cars very, very wide. Bowling's going to hope for that for sure, being out front.
One of the biggest factors of all night, Zach, we have not seen the 7 on how he reacts with dirty air, but he's going to have the freshest tires, and he's going to go to the inside, trying to pass that of Dylan Grimm. Grimm, winner of last week at Auto Club, also won at Indianapolis in the middle of the season to get himself into the playoffs. The 23 still fighting back with a crossover move, and they've got Aaron Hale, who just got out of pit road. Going to be a pick. Here comes Grimm, and they're going to be almost 3 wide, going through 3 and 4. The 4 back on the throttle, but one slip up could ruin their chances out of a championship.
Oh man, 3 wide here for a championship. Kyle McCoy up top, Dylan Grimm down low, Aaron Hill in the middle, and McCoy gonna get it done on the top groove. That definitely did not help the time there for him much, but he's gonna have 4.3 seconds to make up here in the final portion of this race. He's got the tires to do it, but does he have the tires when he gets there is going to be the question.
Now McCoy, when he got out of pit road 3 laps ago, the 7 was 5.5 seconds back from that of Kyle Bowling. Now, currently 3.7 seconds back. The 7, he knows he needs to get going, running about 3/10. That last time by a half a second faster was the 7, and he is now less than a second away from second place of Scott Rickard.
What a battle this is going to be. If you have just tuned in lately, do not miss out on this, because guess what? It's going to be the passes that are going to be need to made for this 7 machine if he wants to get back to the lead to win this championship. What a story it would be if Bowling's able to hold on to this with the 7, stretching it longer. He is going to be definitely hurting after this is all over if it doesn't come back into his hands. But Scott Rickard also, he pits later than the 44. He has a chance to go up here and run down. This is any man's game now.
And you know, it's gonna get very difficult from this point on for Kyle McCoy. He's got to figure out how to get by Scott Rickard, who has been one of the more difficult drivers throughout this season to get by. He is well known for willing to fight for every position to either make a pass or hold you off. This is the battle. Kyle McCoy, your Season 1 champion of the Stars and Stripes, battling against our Season 2 champion of Scott Rickard. The battle to see who can try to pass Kyle Bowling, who has not won at all this season. The 44 leading and trying to get his first win of the season that could win him the championship. But this is the battle for second that we're seeing. It's the 7 of Kyle McCoy that is on a mission to try to get back and clutch at that victory and get his 6th win of the season.
I tell you what, also, Sam, we cannot put this out of the back of our mind. If a caution comes out at any point, these drivers are all hitting pit road to get tires. They're coming down to get that set of tires they have, and they're going to be able to do battle. As Bowling, if anything, he may be hoping for that type of situation. If these guys run him down, he may hope for some type of caution to gain that track position advantage. But right now, McCoy, he's putting the big pressure on the 05 of Rickard. What's he going to do in his back pocket to hold off this 7?
Deeks high, Deeks low, into turn number 3. It's the 7 down below the 05. Going to be making the pass here, trying to clear. If McCoy makes the pass, and it looks like he's finally clear, going to be moving up. Will there be a crossover move? Here comes Scott Rickard, but he's not close enough. The run wasn't there, and Zach, 2 seconds is the difference. Here comes the fight as we're coming to almost 30 laps to go.
And this is what we all want to see. Imano here now. Bowling, he looks back in his mirror. He's going to see the 7 getting bigger and bigger each and every lap. But Bowling cannot take focus off of what he needs to do. He needs to run consistent lap times. If that 7 gets there and starts to even out with him pace-wise, he needs to be able to keep that car in the lane that he needs to do to make the best times here. As we look at the lap time difference, McCoy really taking chunks out here each and every lap.
It's going to be this next lap, lap 102. We're going to be seeing it this to go around. What is Kyle McCoy's lap time going to be when he does not have a driver that he's trying to pass? Those 3/10 each lap, that was when we saw Kyle McCoy battling with Scott Rickard. Now it's all on the 7. Clean air. He's got that of Kovacic in front of him. He's also got the 4 of Aaron Hale who's going to be pressuring, but the 44 of Kyle Bowling. 0 wins, was the underdog coming into tonight's race. He's only had 7 top 5s, 12 top 10s. That consistency is what's gotten the 44 into this position, and it was only 3/10 that go around, Zach. We're almost less than a second difference as we're coming to 30 laps to go.
Each and every lap, that gap is probably going to shrink between the difference between lap times. If Bowling can hold on for just another 10 laps, it may get to a point where he can actually fight the 7 here. But if the 7 catches, I'd say within the next 10, it's going to be very quickly in his hands because he's got so much fresher tires. But I tell you what, Bowling is going to have a lot of fight in him. He hasn't won yet this season, Sam, but what a way it would be to win here to get the championship.
Bowling's got an issue, though. You see the 65 on the outside. Going to be a lap car trying to unlap himself. It's George Kovacic, who's 2 laps down. Just came into pit road 2 laps ago, so got fresh tires. Is the 65. Will he just get out of the way? And it looks like he's just going to go high, let the 7 go, and just let them fight. Or will he, as he holds strong on the outside? Kovacic, he's given a little bit of a challenge for our front 2 championship drivers.
Yeah, definitely not laying over there for Kyle McCoy. And you know, when you have that lap car behind you on the brand new tires, it actually does affect you mentally because you're thinking, What do I need to do to let him by without slowing down? But then he doesn't start to pass you. Now he races side by side with McCoy. This is actually what Kyle Bowling wants to see in his mirror.
I mean, he wants it, but at the same time, I mean, Kyle McCoy in just, I mean, you got to be thinking, in 12 laps has caught up to the 44. The difference was 5.5 seconds. It's now down to 2/10. It's now down to 1/10. And now the battle is on for the championship. It's Kyle Bowling as well as Kyle McCoy. To both Kyles that have been so consistent. It's been McCoy all season on the second half that's been winning. But now we got our two championship drivers on the inside and lap traffic on the outside trying to decide where they want to go. As here comes McCoy right on the back bumper, but there's really no place for him to put his nose.
And oh man, here comes Aaron Hill, also Kovacic up high. This is really playing into something that could be a little bit naughty between these guys, but here comes the run from McCoy. He gets the big run off of 4 down to the inside. Here comes Hill down the outside too. This is not helping the 44.
It's going to be 3 wide going into turn number 1. On the outside, it's the lap car of the 4 of Hale, but on the inside, Kyle McCoy, much fresher tires, into the lead, back where he's been all race long. Kyle McCoy back to his comfort spot, and now can just watch the 44 get smaller in his mirror as the race goes on. Now, for our other 3 championship contenders, they are banking on a yellow to come out.
Yes, they definitely are. 2 seconds separates our top 4, but I tell you what, that gap's going to grow. Here's now McCoy. He's got to this lead position. He's going to have the ability to probably stretch this out here a lot more. And right now, if you're the 44, you're the 05, you're the 23, right now you're banking definitely on a caution or some type of major mistake from this 7 here, because man, oh man, he's definitely shown he has the pace, has the tires now. Now he's got the track position. We'll see if he can hold on to it though in these closing laps.
Kyle McCoy, our leader currently. He won the season 1, the inaugural season of the Stars and Stripes Racing Series. And in that season, in 19 races, he won 9 of those races, 16 top 5s, 17 top 10s. And then you look to this season, Kyle McCoy, in just 17 races, has 5 wins, 11 top 5s, 14 top 10s. The numbers aren't as blown up as they were in that first season, but certainly Kyle McCoy has found that consistency in this final half of the season, as he has been the hottest driver once we hit the playoffs, and that heat continues to rise as he's up front and almost having, and now has, over a second lead over that of Kyle Bowling.
Yeah, it's just continuing to open up more and more each and every lap. As we look at Derek Hoffman here in the 7th position, he's about 23 seconds back. And the thing is also, Sam, look at that. We're probably not going to run into too much lap traffic. King Campbell right now in the 11th position, 28 seconds behind our leader of Kyle McCoy. That's about another 6 seconds up the road from McCoy. And most likely, I don't think McCoy is going to make up that gap with 24 laps. It is possible, but I don't think lap traffic is going to be too much of an issue here for Kyle McCoy the rest of this race.
Yeah, you know, looking at where the drivers lie, you've got that of Jason Metcalf, Nate Lynch, both battling here against one another. This, you know, you've got that Metcalf who's a lap down, and then also, you know, Nate Lynch, who is currently running in 10th place for this 25 machine. But Zach, the coined phrase from the middle of this season for a lot of different series that were being covered on Freaky Fast Broadcasting was the Robert Moyer 20 to go, as it was always 20 laps to go when a caution would fly. And Robert kept on saying, hey, 20 laps to go, you never know if a caution's going to come out. And that all really started with this series. It was 20 laps to go, a caution would fly, would put us in intense moments where then we would go into overtime. Well, you never know if it could strike here tonight, the championship race. Why not finish the way that we started it? As drivers continue to race on into pit road is Travis Dart, who's tried to stretch it out as long as he could not go any further. Going to be going a lap down is the 209, might even go 2 laps down. But up front, Kyle McCoy, Kyle Bowling, Scott Rickard, and Dylan Grimm. Our top 4 on track, our championship 4 racing for the championship here tonight. And right now, starting to see 2nd, 3rd, and 4th all starting to close in on top of one another.
Yeah, they're all closing down on Kyle Bowling, who made that early pit stop, and now he's really starting to feel the brunt of those tires. And that 44 machine is now Rickard has got up to him, but now upwards of 3 seconds behind Mccoy. And, you got to give credit to these top four. I mean, look at them all within 4 seconds here tonight with 21 to go. We can pretty much say a green race other than that very first caution on the opening laps. And, I mean, look back to Medlen there in the 5th position. Almost 15 seconds. It's just showing the domination between these final four and how much they prepared. This season is, wow, look at this. Burchett, Max Ward, and Andrew Medlen here as those new tires on the lap cars get by Andrew Medlen in that 12 machine. But I gotta commend these top four, man. What a battle they've put on in a show. And the preparation is definitely came here tonight.
Oh, absolutely. You could tell there was so much work put into this season and for these drivers. And, for that of Kyle McCoy, he knew early on in the round of 8 that he was going to be moving on and racing for a championship. It was then Dylan Grimm as well as Scott Rickard that both found themselves. For Scotty, pointed his way in. For that of the 23 of Grimm, he won to get into the championship race. But it was really that of the 44, Kyle Bowling, that was a driver that had to point his way into every single situation this season. Never really had that handout of a win and you're in. For the 44 and running second, got to be feeling great for himself as we see 5th running of that of Andrew Medlen. Medlen, a driver this season where we thought we were going to see a win at some point, but it just never came, even though at a lot of the races early on, this 12 looked like a threat to possibly be racing in their championship for, but he just never really got over that hump. But maybe we'll see this 12 next season. Again, in the middle of December, we're coming back for season 4 of the Stars and Stripes. They're going to be racing in the Cup cars that go around here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. So, hey, just a couple of months away, and then we are back to Thursday nights racing. But here tonight, man, Zach, it has been an incredible night of seeing these drivers, different strategies, but 17 laps to go. It's all Kyle McCoy.
Yeah, all Kyle McCoy right now at the moment with 17 to go, but that battle for second in the championship, it is very spicy. As Bowling trying to hold on to it there with Scott Rickard all over the back deck, and now Dylan Grimm, he's even coming to the picture here. So right now, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in the championship, it's getting pretty darn spicy as McCoy continues to drive away from these three.
Yeah, and the difference 4 seconds, but the battle for second, like you said, it is on. As Scott Rickard going to be going to the inside for the 0-5 over the 44. Bowling, much older tires, four lap older tires compared to that of Scott Rickard, and going to be 5 lap older tires to Dylan Grimm. And here comes Grimm on the inside. Got to be careful. Coming out of the corner, almost door banging off of one another out of turn number 2 as they race and drag race into turn number 3.
Oh, man, that you could put a piece of paper in between those two race cars off of turn 2, and now Bowling way up the groove. That's going to give up a lot of speed there to that 23-05, and Bowling now going to have to settle for 4th here after making that early pit stop, and that may be the decision coming down to the end here that took away his chance at a possible top, 2 or 3 in the championship. But at the end of the day, he was going for the victory. You got to give him credit in that 44 is now Grimm all over the back deck lid of Scott Rickard. You never know who could end up second here. And I tell you what, Grimm trying to prove why he was a strong winner last week at Auto Club.
15 laps to go, and Dylan Grimm trying to make the pass here. And you see Scott Rickard trying everything to hold off. They're going to be wiggling out of turn number 4. That's going to be losing time for both drivers. And now it's time for a reset. They'll try once again as they'll head into turn number 1.
And definitely so, a reset from the 23, trying to make every run possible. It's so tough when you're directly in the tire tracks of the 05 like he is, losing front downforce on that nose. That car is going to want to really push up the racetrack. He's having to be very, very self-conscious of that and be patient on the throttle. As now he's going to have a little bit of a nose here with some clean air. We'll see if he can get a better run out of 4 here as they're going to be coming to 12 to go, or 13 to go here. Dylan Grimm, though, trying everything to pull off second, because I tell you what, if this does get a caution here in the next few moments, you want to be as far up as possible here to battle with Kyle McCoy.
Yeah, you really do. I mean, at the same time, though, running in in third might not be the worst spot if a late caution comes out, because then you'd be the driver that could potentially be behind the leader. As here comes Grimm, going to be going to the inside once again into turn number 3. Will there be any door banging as these drivers in the center of 3 and 4? Grimm holding strong, coming out of turn number 3. And Zach, You need to look back to Dylan Grimm's first ever win this season at Indy. It was a bump from Dylan Grimm into the back bumper of Scott Rickard, and Rickard was fuming after that bump to get the win. Was Grimm, and a little bit of late contact after the warm-up lap. They found themselves still bickering at one another, and now with 12 laps to go, it's Dylan Grimm, Scott Rickard, going to be side by side for second.
Oh man, this is a great battle here for second in the points, and possibly a shot here if we get a caution to go up there and get the win. But the question is, like you said, Sam, do you want to restart third? Do you want to restart second? Right now, Grimm, he's trying everything to take that second position, but Scott Rickard just not giving up. What a fight he has in that 05. This is also giving Kyle Bolin possibly a chance to catch up to these two, but I think there it is. The 23 going to have the run off of turn number 2 this time, but Scott Rickard, again, with that side draft, able to stay close and able to pull himself back forward, side by side down into 3.
Little bit of bobble from the 23 out of turn 2. That's also what gave him a little bit of check up, as they're going to check up there as the 05 had to practically slow down to nothing to make sure he didn't get into Grimm. Grimm going to be dirt tracking it out of turn number 4, and here comes the 05 of Scott Rickard, still side by side. 10 laps to go, Zach, and we're still questioning, will there be a caution? And I know for that is Scott Rickard, Grimm, also Bolin, they want a caution, but you got to make sure that you're not the cause of it.
Yeah, very much took the words out of my mouth. You want the caution, but you don't want to be the caution. But this racing here is so fun to watch. Got to give them both credit. They're sliding the rears. Here goes Scott Rickard for the slide job. Here comes the 23 with the cross under to the inside. Both of them really loose coming off a 4 last time. Now going to have the power down on both of them as the 23 pulls ahead. He may have a shot here, but that side draft was able to keep him dead even now, down to 1. And his changed positions is the 05 up top and the 23 down low.
Zach, this is incredible. These guys are racing like they're on brand new tires. They've been on these sets of tires for 35 plus laps. They're losing so much ground because of this amazing battle, but at the same time, how do they have the grip to even do these types of moves?
I do not know, Sam. This is amazing stuff. Usually that guy on the outside would have had that pass done a long time ago, but it seems like the outside groove just getting a little loose on the exit. But there, finally, Dylan Grimm going to clear, but will Scott Rickard have another chance? Not this time, but will he set something up here with 8 to go? Dylan Grimm is trying to hang on for everything it's worth, but man, oh man, what a race we're having here for a second as Mccoy continues to drive off into the sunset.
Mccoy over 5.5, almost 6 seconds is the difference between the 7 and all the way back to second place. It has been incredible to see how Kyle McCoy continues to just pull away, but Dylan Grimm, Scott Rickard finally have figured out where they want to be placed here, but with how much they were racing, you thought maybe the 44 could get back into the mix, but his tires were just too shot to even keep up. As Kyle Bolin falls back, the battle for second still looming to see how close they're going to be, but 7 laps to go. Zach, as the laps tick away, if we get a caution with less than 5 laps to go, we're going to overtime. And if we do go into overtime, Zach, there's only 1 attempt if we go there.
Yeah, and that attempt will be the most wild attempt we'll probably ever see because, you know, during those first couple laps with new tires, which I expect everybody to put on new tires if we do have some sort of caution, but we could see some strategy play out in that realm. But I tell you what, those new tires are going to be so valuable that I think you're not going to be able to give up 4 tires if you have the chance to put them on. But it's going to be all about who can be the quickest on the cold tires, and what we've seen is big mistakes on those cold tires before. At a place like this, it's going to be fun to watch if we do get one of those. But at the moment, Kyle McCoy is saying, guys, just please stop talking about a caution. I'm trying to get a championship here.
Here comes Dylan Glass, going to be trying to make a move. He's going to be a lap down, actually 2 laps down is the 16 Pepsi machine, trying to make carving his way through as he pitted about 9 laps ago. 5 laps to go, Zach. We are now in the window. If a caution comes out, we go into overtime. But for Kyle McCoy, he's crossing his fingers. He's knocking on wood. He does not want a yellow to come out.
Yeah, they're definitely hoping in that 7 camp that this thing stays nice and green to the end. It's been a pleasureful race for him. I'm sure he's been able to keep that thing up front ever since giving the lead up to Scott Rickard early in the going. It's never been given back to anybody else as he's been so dominant here tonight. And man, I just got to put it down to this guy is just so good at the tracks that seem to wear out the tires. It's definitely on his resume so far this season. And I just got to give him so much credit for how well he's performed in these playoffs.
Yeah, and I was looking back at the stats further back of where all the drivers, where their Stars and Stripes careers really started. For Kyle McCoy, we've already noted on it, he won the Season 1 championship. He is the only driver of our Championship 4 that is from that first season that has been here for all 3 seasons. Then in Season 2, Scott Rickard showed up, as well as Kyle Bowling, and also that's when we started to see Dylan Grimm coming into the fray. Actually, I want to take that back. Grimm actually came in for Season 3 this season. So we had Bowling, Rickard from Season 2. They showed up. Rickard won Season 2 championship. Then Season 3 came around. That's when Dylan Grimm showed his face into this series. So all 4 drivers, these drivers put on a great show throughout this season. And the evolution of all the new drivers that come up for Dylan Grimm, new rookie this season. Then you saw the drivers from last season still showing up. And the veteran, Kyle McCoy, up front, leading this race as he's coming off of the back stretch. Zach, incredible to see the 7.
That it is. One more time he's going to go down here in the 3 and 4 before he sees this white flag, and that is all he's going to be looking for, Sam, to make this race official.
It's Kyle McCoy out of turn number 4. It's your freaky fast white flag in the air. We've done it. It's now on Kyle McCoy to just survive these 2 turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Just survive this lap, and another championship is on your table.
What a season. What a playoffs it's been. Looking to get 4 out of 5 of the races here in the playoffs. This driver's been on a roll, and nobody deserved this championship more than this guy. He has been on a roll here. Cannot wait to see him get this checker flag, man.
Kyle McCoy out of turn number 4, Season 1 champion, and now Season 3 champion of the Stars and Stripes Racing Series. Congratulations to Kyle McCoy and his 6th win of this season.
What a job by McCoy. 6 wins this season, and the 6th one's going to be the sweetest one of them all here, Sam, at the Homestead Miami Speedway. And now 2 championships in his names here at the Stars and Stripes League. This is what it's all about, man. And we're going to crown us a champion here in the next few moments. I can't wait to hear how excited that guy is right there.
I mean, our final 4 all finishing in the top 4. You saw how they all put on a show here tonight. All different strategies were thrown out, but the fastest driver of the night, the driver that got the pole, Kyle McCoy, he then led the primary of all the laps here tonight. And he could only do it one way. Like you noted on Zach, won 4 of our 5 playoff races and won the one that mattered. It's Kyle McCoy winning the championship here tonight and getting to burn it down. As the 7 gets to burn it out here tonight for a championship. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to be talking to our top 3, Scott Rickard, Dylan Grimm, and Kyle McCoy, your winner here tonight and champion of Season 3. What a season and what a race for the Stars and Stripes Racing Series. Season 3 has just come to a conclusion here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, but we still got to give you a little bit of a post show here. We get to talk to 3 of our 4 championship drivers that finished in the top 3, starting things off with Scott Rickard. Let's bring Scott up into the booth. Scott, do you got us?
Yes, I do.
Well, Scott, you had, different strategies. You stayed out extremely long on that first run, undercut on the second. I mean, what else could you have tried to do there here tonight?
And faster in the first place. Because that's about I did everything I could to try to get in front of him, and it just didn't work.
Well, Scott, this is Zach up in the booth here. Also, man, I tell you what, a great season nonetheless here, Scott, coming home third. But I tell you what, buddy, it just seemed like tire wear was the big issue tonight for the rest of you guys there competing really from second on back, as Mccoy just seemed to really have a lot of pace there as the run goes on. Is that seeming to be the end? Because, you took the lead early, but just it seems as the run went on, you started to struggle a little bit.
Yeah, I was the first run. I know I burnt the right front up after he passed me and started pulling away, and then it was just more of a trying to do strategy and not burn it off again the rest of the race. And then
Yeah,
I got extremely loose at the last run towards the end. I was starting to get really loose there.
Scott, we got to see an incredible run there and battling between yourself and Grim. You won last season's championship in the truck series when you were running that. But man, just overall, give us a little bit of talk of how you felt about this season as a whole. I know you wanted the championship, but came shy.
And I'm not too concerned about championship. I'm just glad I made it to the final four to at least make it back to the final four after championships. A little bit disappointing, but overall pretty good.
Well, Scott, before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout outs.
Everybody in the team and my dog.
That's going to be Scott Rickard, going to be getting himself a third place finish here tonight and finishing third in our final 4. Congratulations on an incredible season. 4 wins, an amazing season for yourself, and good luck next season in season 4.
Thank you.
That's going to be Scott Rickard in the 05, again, finishing third here tonight, as we're going to be bringing in that of second place runner, Dylan Grimm in the 23, won last week at Auto Club, going to be coming up second here tonight. Dylan, it's Sam up in the booth, as well as Zach. Man, what a race for yourself, but coming up short, but an amazing battle you had there with Scott late.
Yeah, it always sucks to come in second, but Kyle was lights out tonight. And yeah, it was definitely a good battle for second there.
Yeah, Dylan, we got to see that battle, man, between you and Scott there coming down to the end. Take us through that. It was such a big gap up to Kyle that I think that, you guys had a good time battling out there. But, was that battle coming down to, if you got a caution, what was going to play out there at the end? But, yeah, take us through that battle, man. And do you think he would have had anything there if we would have got a short run there down to the end?
Yeah, we were just scrapping big time there. We knew probably that we weren't gonna catch Kyle unless a caution came out, so we were putting it all on the line. And a lot of times I got to the gas a little early and almost spun out and had to save it a bunch. But yeah, I just want to say congrats to Kyle. He was amazing tonight and really good all season.
Dylan, for yourself, a great season. You've come away with 2 wins here this season, but overall, how you feeling about how this season went besides not winning the championship?
I thought it went pretty well. Midway through the season, I was like 24th in points. So, um, second, I think from there is really good from how far I was down in the points earlier this season.
Absolutely. Well, before we let you go, Dylan, the floor is yours for any shout outs.
Yeah, I want to shout out Nate and everyone putting on this league this season. I can't wait for next season. You guys up in the booth, you guys do a great job. My team helped me out all season long, and any family members out there watching tonight.
That's Dylan Grimm in the 23 DoorDash machine. Congratulations on his second place finish here tonight, and good luck next season for season 4.
Thank you guys.
As we're going to be taking a quick, preparing as we're actually going to be holding for now, Zach, as we're about to get Kyle up into the booth. Man, what a season it has been. I know you came in late, but this has been an incredible season for a lot of these drivers, especially for the man who got this win here tonight.
Yeah, this guy is just, man, I haven't seen a roll like this in a while from a driver. I mean, you go into the playoffs, you want to go out there and win a good bit of the portion of the races, but when you go out there and win, 4 out of the 5, that is just utter domination. And I tell you what, I couldn't have picked a more deserving champion this season here. He has just been on fire, man, and it's been so fun to watch him as he's progressed. Like you said, Sam, it really came down to the end of the season where he really started to shine, and that's where you got to shine in formats like this, and he was able to get it done. Lucky number 7 here tonight.
Oh, you're holding to see if we could possibly get Kyle Bowling up in the booth, but it turns out we have now got him. It's going to be the 44. We're going to be bringing up in the booth for a quick second, but this man has been incredible. We're going to do a quick talk with him, get his thoughts of finishing in 4th. Kyle, it's Sam up in the booth. We're just going to do one quick question for you, and then we're going to let you go. 4th place here tonight, but man, what a season you've had.
Yeah, really good season. Much better than I expected starting out. And I was so happy to be actually a factor this year in the race. It was a lot of fun tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle, congratulations on 4th place. I know you came up shy, but any final thoughts as well as shout outs to your sponsors?
Just really good race tonight. Really good, strong final 4. I had to throw a Hail Mary in that last run and didn't quite pan out, but yeah, my normal sponsors, my dad, like he's the one who helped me build all this stuff, and just gotta thank you guys for putting on a great broadcast every time, and everyone that runs this league. It's been a whole lot of fun this year.
And that's going to be Kyle Bowling. Thanks for coming up in the booth, Kyle. And congratulations on finishing in our final 4, and good luck next season.
Thank you.
As we got our other 3 drivers, now it is time to bring up the man up into the booth who got the win here tonight and has now officially became the first driver to become a 2-time champion in the Stars and Stripes series. It is your season 3 champion, Kyle Mccoy, up in the booth. Kyle, congratulations on the win and congratulations on the championship.
Thank you, guys. I'm pumped. That was awesome. I can't believe it went that smooth. But man, yeah, what a finish to the season. Thanks, guys.
Well, this is Zach up here also in the booth comment. I tell you what, congrats first, not only that on the championship, but also the win here tonight, man. We were looking back at some of your stats this season, man, and this is just one thing that really stood out to me looking at the racetracks you won at. It seems like each one of those racetracks, it comes down to really a track that is very abrasive and really comes down to, that long run pace on these tires. And I think, again, here tonight, it shows you've had some of the best, and especially at the end of the season where you've won 4 out of the 5 playoff races, man. Do you think that's really kind of, this final, 5 races really played out well for you here because really the tracks really played right into your strong suit, I think.
Yeah. When the season started, I saw the schedule. I knew if I could get to the playoffs, I mean, we'd have a heck of a shot at it. You know how it goes, but though, when you look at that stuff, I was thinking about that today. There's no way you'd ever expect it to go that that clear and that clean. There's always going to be some bumps in the road, and for whatever reason, it just didn't happen this year. It just clicked right off one after the other, and the tracks were great. I was a little concerned about Homestead, and I don't know what I showed up with tonight, to be honest with you, but we just had something in it that just worked. I put in enough work and figured out what I wanted my pace to be, and yeah, we just had something that I didn't think I'd have for him tonight. So I'm a little surprised, but the tracks in the playoffs just fell right to me. So
Yeah, I mean, Kyle, tonight in general, I mean, we saw you try 2 different strategies out. That first stint, you did an undercut. Then the last one, you were one of the last of our championship 4 to come into pit road. It felt like you could do no wrong unless a caution came out, which it didn't. I mean, how did it feel being out there on track and feeling like, hey, I'm the fastest car out here, and there's really no one else that could touch me right at the moment?
yeah, I mean, it was once we got to the end of that first run, it was really fun to kind of figure out that really if I played the strategy right, I had the thing won. When Bowling pitted there early, I got concerned because, I mean, we came out obviously without the track position there on that last stop and needed it to go green. If there had been a yellow, we would have had to come in and take our lumps and take that last set of tires. So the strategy was really interesting. But Travis the whole time was talking me through it. Unfortunately, he had a rough night. He came in and forgot to check his fast repairs, so he had an hour of repairs to make. So he served as the spotter, which I really, really appreciate. And so we were talking through it, and he kind of said, you've got the speed. Let's win it on speed. Let's not win it on strategy, because strategy is fickle. Speed is all day long in racing. So we bet on the speed in the car and in the track, and it worked out. Yellow would have made it really harrowing there at the end, but luckily it fell exactly the way we needed it to.
Yeah, I mean, certainly you have the speed here tonight. Kyle, before we let you go, though, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Yeah, thanks to Travis and Brian and Josh for a great season. I know we didn't get the team championship, but I feel like our team's the best one out there, and I'm biased, but those guys put in a heck of a ton of work. And I mean, there's things that I didn't know about iRacing that I know now because of those guys, and it's just because they challenged my perspective and were able to give me a different outlook sometimes, and it helped here again this week. We worked really hard to get it in the right place and run the right line and find the right pace. And I mean, those guys, they put in a ton of effort this year, and I owe it to them for sure. Thanks to you guys for putting on the broadcast. This one's going to be saved and archived, and it's going to hold a special place on my laptop. So really appreciate it. And then thanks to Nate and Derek. I really like the league is amazing. I mean, you saw. I mean, we had one caution tonight, lap 6. We get to settle these things straight up on the track every night, and it's a lot of fun, and I can't wait to be back again next year. So
Yeah, I mean, it's been incredible. Kyle, great season. The most winningest driver of season 3 with 6 wins. It's been an impeccable season. We knew that you were going to be one of the favorites to watch out for, but for this, took 20 races. A total of 41 drivers all attempted to try to get gold, but your first 2-time champion in the Stars and Stripes series, it is Kyle Mccoy in the 7, your season 3 champion of the Stars and Stripes. Congratulations, Kyle. I know you're going to be enjoying this one for a long time, but the next season, season 4, just in a couple of months. So celebrate this one as long as you can. Congratulations and good luck next season.
Thanks, boys. Heck yeah, we got us one here. Pumped, ready to come back. We'll see you next year.
That is Kyle Mccoy in the 7, your champion here tonight. Homestead, what a show it has been, and I cannot believe that it is already over. Zach, I know you came in late, but it's crazy to think 20 races gone in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, you brought up, Sam, I came in here late this season, but I tell you what, those races are all a blur for me. It's been a wild ride and something I'm so happy to be a part of coming back next season. So you'll get to hear me and Sam going back and forth here on these race nights on Thursday. I can't wait for that to start back up. First off, congrats to the Final 4 who made it here tonight and all the other drivers on the track. You guys put on a show each and every week we've been up here, especially since my time joining. I've seen a lot of great action out there, and I just got to applaud the league for putting on a great show. And again, congrats to Kyle Mccoy on that second championship. I know how tough it is to get championships as a driver, and it's going to be a special one for him. So I hope he goes and celebrates this one for a long time to come.
Yeah, again, Kyle Mccoy, he's been here since day 1, but we'll see who will be the next driver similar to Dylan Grimm, who shows up their first season and threatening to win a championship. Can't wait for it. Amazing. Different strategies were thrown out, but the fastest car got the win of that of Kyle McCoy. Zach, again, thanks for being up in the booth. Big thanks to that of Hunter Hayward that joined us as well throughout this season. It's been a spectacular season. It was all about our top 4. Those were your championship 4, and we knew at some point it was probably going to be the driver that wins this race, that wins the championship, and it was Kyle McCoy. Dylan Grimm going to get 2nd place, Scott Rickard in 3rd, Kyle Boylan going to be getting that, Boylan going to get 4th place with Andrew Medlen in 5th, Derek Hoffman in 6th place, 7th goes to Trey Jackson, that of Christopher Wade in 8th, Nate Lynch in 9th, Aaron Hale going to be your top 10, and the other drivers we go through and get to see. But Zach, what a season it's been. what are some of your final thoughts as we come to the end of tonight's broadcast?
Well, what a ride it's been, like you alluded to earlier, and just final thoughts is what a show we just got to watch. I mean, literally, these cars here, the Xfinity cars, I love them. It's been a pleasure to call the action in these Xfinity cars, where I personally don't have the most seat time. So watching these guys, I'm kind of like, man, I need to get more into this car because it's just such a impressive car. How the racing goes on with it, and how much it differs from the other cars. But with that being said, also my final thought is we're going to the Cup Series car next season. It's going to be a blast to see these guys try to wrangle that beast of a car, and it's going to be completely different action that we've seen on your screen. It's going to be a lot more packed up and a lot more side by side action that sometimes as a driver could be frustrating, but for us at home, it's going to be wild to see. So make sure you don't miss out on any of that action coming back here in December. Man, Sam, I thank you for getting me to come up here with you guys for the rest of the season. I cannot wait for the next one to kick off, though, buddy.
Next season, season 4, we cannot wait for it. Again, big thanks to Zach being up in the booth. Robert's joining me up in the booth as well. We had Hunter Hayward at the start of this season, Zach Hall end of the season. But man, it has been an incredible season that concluded here at Homestead. And it is all that of Kyle McCoy in the 7 getting the win here at Homestead and winning the Season 3 Stars and Stripes Championship. Incredible night, incredible season. But we always, with every broadcast, got to throw it up to the booth of productions for Robert Moyer to give the final call of the night.
It might help if I turn my mic on. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Sam, you got me so excited, I forgot to turn my mic on. Anyways, I want to say thank you, Sam. Thank you, Zach. Thank you, everybody out there on Freaky Fast that has tuned in, watches these guys every Thursday night here at Stars and Stripes. It's been one well of a season, and I can't believe it's over already. Like, season we started, like you guys alluded earlier in the broadcast, we started, and now we're ending. And now I want to start again. But it's going to be fun. We're going to be taking off a month, like you guys said. We'll be back in December on a Thursday night, starting on 12/9 at 9:20 with the Cup cars. So it's going to be fun to see how them guys wrangle, like Zach said, them cars around. We don't know what the schedule is going to be yet, so make sure you tune in, pay attention. We'll get something posted out there on the social media platforms of when that time comes, so everybody can see what the schedule looks like and everything, and that. But hey, if you're free on a Thursday night and you want to go out and battle these guys, and you want to go battle Kyle and Dylan and Scott and the other Kyle and Andrew and Derek and all these guys out here that do here at Stars and Stripes, make sure you hit them up on iRacing's league page at Stars and Stripes, and I'm sure they would get you on their Discord, get you out there on the track, and you can battle for some cash, some prizes, and things like that. On the other side note, before we get out of here, Virtual Homestead, I want to say thank you to all the sponsorships here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting throughout this season here, and also all the sponsorships of Stars and Stripes. You know who you are. There's plenty of the guys out there. I can't name them all because I don't want to miss them all, but the league and the drivers do much appreciate you as sponsors coming on board, helping making this happen every Thursday night. So we do much appreciate that, and like I said, the league and the drivers do. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, again, congratulations, Kyle McCoy, Season 3 championship here at Stars and Stripes on your Thursday night here at Freaky Fest Broadcasting. We will catch everybody again this Saturday night with Sam Dyer and Brandon calling all the action with the NISCC Cup Series as they get ready to do whatever round they're doing, because I had a long day and I'm just rambling on now. But with that being said, everybody have a great Friday. We'll catch you next season in December. Have a great Thanksgiving. Be safe. Enjoy your friends and family and all that stuff. But until Saturday night, here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, like we always like to say to everybody out there, God bless you. Love yous all. Peace out.